What's good, YouTube? Today I have the most interesting second place regional deck profile from Torgin, Mackinga. And he got second place out of 50 people at a regional in Switzerland. And he goes really in depth on this report. So I'm going to go into it for you guys. But first, let's go ahead and get into the deck list and then exactly what he does. He does this so understandably for everybody. So there's 3 Crimson Nova, the Dark Cubic Lord, 3 Duza, the Meteor Cubic Vessel, double Summoner Monk, 1 copy of... I'm going to murder a lot of these. Indiora, Doom Volt, the Cubic Emperor, 1 copy of Buster Gundil, the Cubic Behemoth, or 2 copies, my bad, 1 copy of Vulcan Dragni, the Cubic King, 1 copy of Blade Garudia, the Cubic Beast, 2 Maxis, 1 copy of oh no, there's no way. Guile, the Cubic King. I'm just gonna murder all these. Get triggered. Dark Garnix, the Cubic Beast. Triple V-Jam, the Cubic Seed. Know that one from the movie. Triple Cubic Wave. Triple Foolish Burial with Belongings. One of the best rogue cards for enabling a lot of rogue decks. 1 Reasoning. 1 copy of Upstart Goblin. Triple Dark World Dealings. 1 MST. 1 Twin Twisters. Triple Cubic Karma, Triple Cubic Combination, and 1 Cubic Rebirth. So this is unification of the Cubic Lords, the English names. And we've got Rank 10 Trains with number 81, and Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. We've got Utopia the Lightning with the full package there, having Prime for the middle, 1 Rebellion Dragon, Karen Gorgon Ragna Zero, Gear Gigant X, number 101 Silent Honor Arc, Heartland Draco, Castel, Gagaga Samurai, Abyss Dweller, and Gagaga Cowboy. Double Denko Sekka, double Retaliating Seed, double Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, triple DD Crow, 1 Cosmic Cyclone, an extra Twin Twister, Mirror Force, double Dimensional Barrier, and Vanity's Emptiness. So he has this to say, it's a lot. I went to WCQ event here in Switzerland today with my Cubic deck. I placed second out of 50 players going 5-1. My only loss was to Invoked Wind Witch Artifact because I was an idiot and I didn't have Kaijus on my side, which left me with very few specific outs to Crystal Wing. The Eidolon player ended up going 6-0 winning the event. This gave me the best tiebreaker out of the players that went 5-1. Most players had absolutely no idea what the deck could do, resulting in them misplaying, negating things they should not, or letting effects go through that they shouldn't. Often they just had no way of stopping the OTK as well. This deck zoo matchup is amazing as its boss monster is unaffected by Trident. Also, you'll be always able to go second in game 1, since most decks in the meta don't want to build an unbreakable board turn 1. Trident most useless card 2017. Cubic basics. I realize that some readers may not be familiar with the Cubic archetype, so here are the basics on how to OTK works and the relevant cards. Crimson Nova, the Dark Cubic Lord, Dark Fiend / effect level 10, 3000 0. That would be this guy. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from your hand by revealing 3 other Cubic cards in your hand with different names, and cannot be special summoned other ways, unaffected by other monsters' activated effects whose original attack is 3000 or less. When this attacking card destroys a monster by battle, you can activate this effect. This card can make a second attack during this battle phase. During your end phase, each player takes 3000 damage. You can only use this effect once per turn. Duza, the Meteor Cubic Vessel, Light Machine, level 4, 1600/1600. That's this guy. He was a promo from the Gold. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send 1 Cubic card from your deck to the graveyard. Once per turn during either player's turn, if a monster is sent to your graveyard this turn while this card was in the field face up, this card can gain 200 attack for each monster with a different name in your graveyard until the end of the turn. Cubic Karma Continuous Spell card. That would be this one. Let's see if I can make it stay. There we go. When this card is activated, you can target 1 Cubic monster you control except VGM the Cubic Seed. Send any number of VGM the Cubic Seeds from your hand and or deck to the graveyard. Then that monster gains 800 attack for each, even if this card leaves the field during your opponent's turn. If VGM the Cubic Seed is special summoned by the effect of a Cubic monster, send this card to the graveyard, and if you do, half your opponent's life points. You can banish this card from the graveyard, add 1 Cubic monster from your deck to the hand. And then we have Cubic Wave somewhere in here. Cubic Wave. Am I missing something? What is Cubic Wave? He says Cubic Wave is a normal spell card. Oh, that's this. My bad. The other name. Target one cubic monster you control and one face-up monster your opponent controls. The attack of that monster you control becomes double its current attack, and if it does, the attack of that monster your opponent controls becomes half its current attack. You can banish this card and any number of cubic monsters from your graveyard, then target a face-up monster your opponent controls equal to the number of those banished cubic monsters. Place a cubic counter for each of them. How to OTK? In order to OTK your opponent, you have to fulfill the summoning conditions of Crimson Nova, the Dark Cubic Lord. That means you need him and 3 other cubic cards in your hand. All cubic monsters are searchable using cubic karma by banishing it from your graveyard. It can be sent to your graveyard by using Duza, the Meteor Cubic Vessel, and using Foolish Burial Goods. Or discarding it from your hand with Dark World Dealings. Nice. Once you summon Crimson Nova, the Dark Cubic Lord, you will need to activate either Cubic Wave or Cubic Karma, boosting him to 6,000/5,400 attack respectively. Now, if your opponent has either 2 attack position monsters, as Zodiac players often do, or just a single monster in defense position, you will be able to deal more than 5,000 direct points of damage to him. During the end phase, Nova's effect will activate, dealing 3,000 points of effect damage to finish your opponent off. So basically Trident / Emerald, and they often put an attack because of things like Terror Top being able to attack and just run over your Trident. Of course, sometimes your opponent will have more than 1 defense position monster, with most medium / good hands, and you will need to be able to summon 2 Crimson Novas, but without a problem. I hope this brief summary helps you understand what I mean when I simply write, I gave him the OTK. Round report, round 1 against Pure Zodiac, 2-0. He started game 1, I gave him the OTK on my first turn with Crimson Nova plus Wave. Game 2, same thing, he chose to start again and made Trident plus Karen Gorgon. I was only able to attack for 4,300 damage with my single Crimson Nova, since I didn't have Wave or Karma. So, main phase 2, I summoned Summoner Monk, discarded a spell, went into Cowboy for game. I could have also used the effect of Duza and summon Monk to Meld Karma, search Gara Guile, and summon it tributing Duza for 800 HP burn. Round 2 against Metal Foe Zoo 2-1. Game 1, he started, I gave him Crimson Nova plus Karma OTK. Game 2, he started, he made Drancia Coach King and drew Fire Barrier Statue with it. He then Pendulum summoned it. Drancia couldn't kill my Duza on summon, so I would have had to send Aura to grave in order to negate the statue, but then I didn't have enough cubics in hand to summon Nova. So I left the statue with effect in hopes of him not being able to summon 8,000 damage, but Volflame being a flame, he easily OTK'd me. Game 3, he started out again, but I had Maxi, so he ended his turn with Terror Top in defense, and a Thorough Blade in attack, and I OTK'd him easily. Game 3 against Pure Zodiac 2-0. Game 1, he started, I OTK'd him. I'm sensing a theme here. Game 2, he made me start, I summoned Duza, dumped combination, and had Maxi in hand. He destroyed my Duza, but I only had 2 cubic cards in hand, so I used combination to summon Endoria Doom Volt. During my turn, I crashed Endoria into his attack position monster in order to summon Duza from grave, plus search Crimson Nova. I had drawn a cubic card, so I used Duza effect to dump combination in order to ensure I would survive the next turn. Next turn, I drew another Crimson Nova, enabling me to summon 2 Novas and kill him. My opponent could have easily won this match, but he was too shy to ask to read cards, and when he did read them, he only read part of the effect that I was using at that time. Because of this, whenever the effect I used, he was surprised. It sounds like the anime. My card also does this. He even used a Ghost Ogre on my Duza that was summoned by combination and couldn't be destroyed by card effects. Unification of the Cubic Lords, I believe, is its new name. I've also, too, been on OCG names for the past couple months here. Round 4 against Invoked Wind Witch Artifacts, 0-2 with his loss. I was completely unprepared for the matchup, had never played against the deck before. Both games he started and made indestructible Crystal Wings, and the only way I could have got rid of it was a Cubic Aura from grave plus Crimson Nova with attack boost or Wave and Karma. And even then he had 3 to 4 back rows at all times, and after the game he told me he was playing Mirror Force, so yeah, I missed the Kaijus in the side badly. Afterthought, now that I think about it, I could have summoned Duza without activating his effect, and give him the Wave / Karma in order to run over the Crystal Wings since it doesn't gain attack whilst battling him. Oh well. Round 5, Blue Eyes 2-1. Game 1, I won the dice roll, so he started. I believe he bricked, so he gave me the turn with only one attack position. Blue Eyes on the field, I proceeded to OTK with 2 Crimson Novas. Game 2, I started, only able to set V-Jam, though I had Maxi. With Kaiju Slumber, he easily dealt 8,000 damage to me. Game 3, he started summoning Blue Eyes in attack and a Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon in defense. I summoned Crimson Nova, used Karma on it, and then wave boosting it to 10,800 attack. I then attacked his 1,500 attack Blue Eyes. He tried to be cute and tribute his Spirit Dragon for Black Rose Moonlight, bouncing the Blue Eyes to hand, but then I just attacked the Moonlight, used Nova's effect, and attacked directly for 10,800. Round 6 against Metal Foes, 2-1. Game 1, he started, but literally everything you could ever wish for, ending with 5 monsters, 3 in attack, back row, 2 counter, 1 full Metal Foe fusion. I made 2 Crimson Novas, summoned a Duza. He used the fusion to make Orichalc with 2 of the attack position monsters and used his Trident to destroy my 3rd. So I destroyed all of his monsters plus the 2 he summoned with counter. Main phase 2, I made a number 81 Super Dora out of the 2 Crimson Novas. Next turn, he ran over it with Utopia the Lightning to deal 7,900 damage to me. Next turn, I could have summoned the 3rd Crimson Nova, but not to kill him, so I would have died off of its effect in the end phase, so he killed me. Game 2 started again, and I gave him the OTK. Game 3, he made me start, and I started 2 with Maxi, Cubic Reborn, and Cubic in hand, so I set Reborn and then passed. In hindsight, I should have set the second Maxi in defense as well. I chained Maxi to Ceratop, and he decided to pull through it. On one of his last summons, I finally drew my Ghost Ogre. He had exactly 8,300 damage on the field, including Totem Bird. So I activated Cubic Reborn on his Totem Bird's attack declaration, forcing him to negate it. I then chained Ghost Ogre to the negation, allowing me to survive. He passed, and at this point, I had about 11 cards in hand, allowing me to summon 2 Crimson Novas, using Wave on one, Karma on the other. He was pretty mad that he potentially lost his European Championship qualification because of a damn Cubic deck. Deck goal and analysis. Basically, there are 2 situations in this deck, going first and second. Going second, this is our dream situation. Our goal is to kill the opponent first turn. In order to do this, we need at least 4 Cubic cards in hand, Crimson Nova plus 3 to show, unless our opponent has 2 attack position monsters with a combined attack of 1,000 or less. We also need something to deal extra damage. For this, there are a couple of options that can be combined in any way. Being able to summon a second Crimson Nova for another 3k beater, summoning Duza, and being able to protect him from Trident with a combination Engrave. And a combination, of course, is Unification of the Cubic Lords, which is what he's describing this entire time, the card that we've had up with the eyeball. Using Cubic Wave's Graveyard effect to negate the effect of Zodiac Xyz monsters, setting its attack to 0. Going first, this is not ideal but not awful either. The goal is to be able to summon a Duza, dumping Unification to the grave. When your opponent removes Duza in any ways, you special summon a new one in defense, dumping another Unification. This way, you should be able to always survive the turn. When you think your opponent has run out of the ways to get rid of the Duza that is indestructible by battle or card effects, dump Karma instead of Unification, and next turn, try to OTK as above. Problems. Battle traps like Mirror Force will just destroy your Crimson Nova and you will be screwed. Luckily, they are not very common in the current meta. Solemn Warning and Strike. These will negate the summon of your Nova. You need to be able to summon another one or destroy them beforehand with Spell and Trap removal. How this affects the ideal build. Using this analysis, we know that in every starting hand we want a way to search or draw either Duza going first or Crimson Nova going second, 3 other Cubic cards. So let's start off by maxing off our ability to search the cards that can get us to Crimson Nova in our hand are 3x Crimson Nova themselves, 3 Duza, and 3 Foolish Burial Goods. 3 Cubic Karma must be discarded by Dark World Dealings or Twin Twisters. 2 Summoner Monks. Note that this is utterly useless going second against Zodiac and will just be destroyed by Dryden. This is almost a third of our deck, considering we are running Upstart Goblin and 3 copy of Dark World Dealings. Now for the rest of the deck, we only want to run cards that give us Cubic names to reveal for Nova, Solemn Strike removal. Any cards that do not fall into one of these categories are useless, as they do not bring us closer to our goals. Defensive cards are necessary because Duza combination loop guarantees we will not die for 1 to 2 turns. That is all we should need. This guy has gone so in-depth into this deck. I love it. The reason I opted for 1 MST and 1 Twin Twister instead of 2 Twin Twisters is, though you will be going +1 using Twin to discard Conra/combination, it will also leave you with fewer resources left in the deck, which are very limited. And this is the best case scenario. Adding cards to your hand with this deck is very difficult. You search a lot, but you almost never go plus. Keeping enough Cubic cards in hand is literally how you win. The only way to increase your hand size outside of the draw phase is to float into Indiora Doomvolt or Buster Gunlil, and using the combination, which is, again, Unification, and then crash into an opponent's attack position monster, summoning one or more Duza from grave, simultaneously adding a cubic card from grave/deck to hand, and that uses up your battle phase, though, so you'll have to wait for another turn. Other cubic monsters. What some people don't seem to understand about the deck is that the whole VJM level up gimmick is awful, and the only reason you play the other monsters for their name. The only monsters other than Duza and Crimson Nova I would ever summon are the level 4s for their grave effects, as explained above, and Gyra Guile for the 800 burn. There is not a single situation I can think of where you would ever summon a Dark Garnex or the others, except for maybe to get rid of Crimson Nova so you don't die from the 3k in the end phase, but then you shouldn't have summoned him in the first place. Synchro cubix. At first I was playing the Synchro version of the deck using Red Resonator and Coral Dragon as tuners. This seems to be the best build on paper, allowing me to loop Duzas and make Leo the Keeper of Sacred Tree for free. After gaining more experience from the deck, though, I realized Duza on the field with combination in the grave is a much better defense than wasting 2 to 3 of your combos on making synchros. Resources are very limited in this deck and must be preserved. Also, I found my red resonators just being killed off by my opponent's trident, so I removed resonators in favor for more cubic names, increasing my odds of summoning a second Crimson Nova significantly. Crimson Nova Trinity and the Dark Cubic Lord. When reading this card, it seems like it was going to be the nuts. If you think about it more, though, you realize that by the time you're able to summon it, you would have already won just with the standard Crimson Novas that you have in hand. So my conclusion is, if you need this card to win, you're doing something wrong. As a result, as a result of this, I don't even have him in my extra deck. If you want, you can dump him in there just for the lulz. There's more than enough space, and I believe he goes into some reasoning on why he played some cards over others, such as he would change also a reasoning for a Ghost Ogre. Playing 10 non-Nami monsters, you will only mill an average of 3 cards, leaving you with a 45% chance of milling Karma in combination, which are cards that are relevant. If your opponent sees you have a 40-card deck, he will know that you're not playing Infernoid, making it very likely you will call level 4. Sending your Duzas to the grave isn't exactly what you want, as it will make your Duza combination loops shorter. If you don't want to main Ghost Ogre, just add another Gyra Guile for the extra name. So, really great in-depth report here, sent in by Torgin. Mackinga topping second place with his cubic deck. Really, really cool to see in a format that's just so dominated by Zoo and other decks, and this just came out of nowhere doing really great.